Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. So today we're having with us Mohammad Nabil from Egypt. He is our special guest for our IKIGAI International podcast. And for our listeners who are listening to us for the first time, the IKIGAI podcast is about finding someone's purpose in life. And today we're going to find more about Mohammed's IKIGAI and his passion about life. Welcome, Mohammed.
Well, thanks, Yousra. Thanks for this wonderful introduction and for the lovely invitation. Of course, I'm very happy to be a part of this, and I hope you're doing well. And for the people who are listening to us, well, this is Mo from Egypt, and I'm an ESL educator, and I've been in this field for about 12 years, and I'm also an educational consultant, and I'm the founder of IKIGAI International.
Great, thank you. That's how I knew you actually, and congratulations for the amazing conference that you have organized together with ELT colleagues, the ELT conference. So I hope today you're going to tell us more about this event. So when time is right. Yeah, thank you very much, Mohammed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so let us first start by, let's say, the most remarkable experience you had as a teacher, or let's say the starting point. So can you remember the first teaching experience you had, and when was it? All the WH questions related to that experience.
Yeah, well, okay, let me tell you something surprising because I've never thought about being a teacher. Okay. I joined the Faculty of Arts French department.
Seriously?
You know, yeah, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I stayed
French
4
is
years there.
Oh.
Yeah, I know it's an amazing language. But, you know, I didn't make it because I didn't love it, and I cannot do anything that I don't love. You know,
yeah,
I cannot make it if I don't love it. You know,
right.
That's why I don't think that I wasted.
So that you decided.
I wasted the time there. No, I never made it. I didn't graduate. You know, there were lots of things on my plate at this time.
Okay.
So, you know, I started over again in the Faculty of Arts, English department in another university. Okay. And I ranked first. Why?
Okay.
Because I've always been passionate about English. But, you know, once I graduated, I had to go to the army.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's right. But, you know, before talking about this, I used to teach some students, you know, privately. Some students were in prep stage and some others were in the secondary stage. And by the way, I used to teach my colleagues at, you know, the Faculty of Arts English department. My professors, you know, encouraged me to do this because they knew that I'm older than them. My language level, you know, was a little bit higher than them. And they know my story. They knew my story, you know, that's why they supported me with this. So, you know, I had to stop everything to go to the army, but for your surprise, I used to teach English at the army for all of the officers there. Yeah, I didn't waste a moment there. You know, I kept teaching officers and, you know, soldiers there. And once, you know, I finished my military service, I thought about leaving teaching and, you know, trying some kind of new challenge. So I worked as a customer service agent in 2 big companies in Cairo. And then I had to go to Al Mahalla Al Kubra, the place where I'm in, to work at a language school. So let's say that it was my actual start. Okay. You know, there I enjoyed a lot. I only had, you know, some kind of language awareness. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about teaching methodology.
Great.
You know, I was, you know, teaching students in the traditional way, you know. So for example, today we're talking about the present simple. So it consists of blah, blah, and blah, you know, as you know. So,
so what happened, Mohammed, so that, what happened so that you recognized that you needed some methodology into your teaching practice? What happened?
Well, it's something in my personality because I've never liked routines.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I needed some kind of change. I didn't believe that I was doing well in my classes. Okay, yes, I had good language, and I still have it. But I think that I needed something else, something that motivates me, maybe something that um, should tell me that whether I'm doing well in my classes, whether I'm teaching them in the right way or not. So I searched it on the internet and I found out something about a TESOL course. I didn't apply for it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, at some point, I and my colleagues at the school traveled to Alexandria to attend a training seminar with Oxford University Press, and I was thrilled. I noticed that yes, there are lots of things that needs to be learned. So I noted out every single thing, and I tried to use the activities I learned there. One of them was called the ladder activity. I keep using it till now. It's a wonderful speaking activity. So then, once I get back home,
I'm sorry. Can you tell us what is it? The speaking activity?
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Actually, it's having two lines of students.
Okay.
Each line will be of 5 students. Okay, and they will be facing each other. Okay, the first line will be A, B, C, D, and A, for example, and the other line will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one of the lines will be asking the other line a question at the same time. But whenever I clap, number 5 will replace number 1, and all of the rest will take a right step, and so on. So I keep clapping every 10, 20 seconds to motivate them to speak faster. So this was working on their fluency, But of course, it was a little bit hard to monitor all of this. But it was a wonderful noise inside the classroom.
Something? I was trained to conduct the same activity, I guess, by the same team here in my country. I guess it is the same everywhere. It's universal.
It's a wonderful
it's
one.
amazing. It's yeah. And I still use it in my teaching practice. Thanks for sharing. Great.
You're most welcome. So let's get back to the TESOL course. I took an online TESOL course from Arizona State University, and it changed my life completely. I tried to share the knowledge with my colleagues at school, but it didn't work with everyone because, again, we have different mindsets. That's why I decided to go to my classes, try to apply what I learned, and then, try to have some kind of self-reflection to know what worked perfectly with my students and what didn't work well, what needed to be changed, and so on. And then, at some point, I decided to leave the school because I didn't see an opportunity for much improvement. Okay. Good. And because I'm a risk taker, I didn't have an alternative. I didn't have another place to work at. So I stayed for 1 week at home. And then I knew a teacher trainer who came to my school and trained us. I didn't know that he was, the president, not the president, he has a managerial position at Forest University in Alexandria. So I went there. He told me, okay, come in and apply. I didn't know that he's some kind of manager there. But I went there. I had an interview, and I did really well in the demo. I had to write 2 long essays. And I still remember them. One of them was about teachers are born, not made. What do you think? It was a difficult one.
It is. Yeah.
Teachers are born and made.
Both, yes. And this leads us to the second, let's say, question that I want to ask you. But I don't want to ask questions, as you know, Mohammed. And it's like teachers are made, and they're taught, and they're trained that way. And don't you think that sometimes it's innate in a way? Because at the beginning, I remember you told us like it was not kind of the initial point. You didn't want to be a teacher, but you were inspired maybe, and maybe you tried it, the experience, like let's say hands-on. So you wanted to be a teacher. So my question here is
maybe
that,
I didn't know from deep inside, you know.
uh-huh.
Yeah, but life led me to be a teacher.
Okay, the question here is that what do you think are the set of skills that a teacher should have? A good teacher, and not by successful is that everyone knows us and we're just famous on social media and that's it. No,
Yeah.
a good and influential teacher in someone's life. What do you think are the set of skills needed for that?
Well, number one, a growth mindset. I will always do this. I will always say this. A growth mindset. A good teacher should be aware enough of his needs. He should work on developing himself. He should always, recognize his weakness points and keeps, working on them. A good teacher should have a good language level, otherwise he won't make it. For example, I cannot have a B1 level in English and I'm going to teach some kind of upper intermediate students. It's crazy. I cannot do this. A good teacher should be a good human being. Because we're not robots. We're not robots. And I remember when I used to work at Price University, there were some strict rules when dealing with late students, late comers, when they come late to the lectures.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you a secret. I used to make some exceptions, but depending on my intuitions, and I didn't tell my students about that.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us more about it? Yeah.
Well, some students had to take, to drive for maybe 2 to 3 hours to come to the lectures. And whenever they came late because, the traffic jam, I told them, I remember that I told them, thank you for coming.
Thanks for being here.
Only coming to the lecture. Yeah, only coming to the lecture means that you're interested.
Mm-hmm. It shows the interest.
And when you're interested, when you're self-motivated to come here, I should respect you. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I never told them that I made exceptions for them. Otherwise, it will be a disaster. So there will be some exceptions for everyone. No, so again, let's get back to the point that I was talking about. A good teacher should be a good human being. A good teacher should be should have some kind of empathy. Should put himself in his learner's shoes. Should understand their needs. Should respond to the needs. Okay, we can keep talking about this till next year, because teaching is the most important job in the world.
Yes.
Right?
What I think about teaching? I always say that teaching is not only a work of art, but a work of heart. So we put all of our hearts into teaching, and empathy is used. All soft skills, like the one that we should not only just teach them about that. So we should be a model for that. So we should be exemplifying and showing this to our students. How can someone be humane to someone else? Just like you said, if someone is late. So first, let us check what's wrong with the person. So I think communication is really important between a teacher and any learner, be it an adult learner or young learner. So if you set that kind of trust and kind of safe environment so that your learners can come and talk to you and share with you whatever is happening to them at that particular time and moment, they'll be ready to learn because you've cleaned the slate for any other emotions or any other challenges that they've been facing, and now they're ready to learn. And if learners, they don't like their teacher, they won't be learning from that person. Okay, there will be kind of a barrier. Yeah, so I totally
If they don't like you, they don't like you, you will lose them.
Sure.
That's it. It's a language.
It is. Yeah, it's that there are communication. We call a language like like A, B, C, D. So any culture has a language, but there are linguistic and paralinguistic terms. So here there are humane, psychological aspects, apart from the cognitive aspects that we should be aware of. So we should be also aware of the psychological readiness of our students. So we're not teaching robots, we're not robots, and all in good vibes, all in good terms. So if they feel themselves in a safe environment, so they will be learning 100%, and they will be contributing more than that. Great.
That's why robots will never replace us.
That is, and I think my question is here, do you think AI technology nowadays can be helpful to teachers in what sense?
Well, okay. Because, a lot of people are arguing over, this topic these days. And since, I've heard that the father of modern linguistics, Noam Chomsky, was saying that it's some kind of plagiarism. With all respect, and of course, you and I were talking about this
in your podcast, yes.
Yeah, that's right. We both share the same, view here. It requires some kind of ethics to use artificial intelligence in a good way, because you're not going to go ask a question, copy and paste, and then use it. No, you have to use your skills to adapt and adopt the knowledge you're getting from ChatGPT. Because again, a person made ChatGPT. It wasn't made by itself. It didn't exist by itself. So I think we can use artificial intelligence to save our time, to get ideas, to brainstorm ideas. Sometimes we run out of ideas, right? We need to find someone to share ideas with. And when it comes to a tool, a platform that can save your time in planning, that can give you ideas depending on the level of your students, depending on their needs, depending on the information that you're giving it. It doesn't know you, it doesn't know your students, but it can help you. Mm-hmm. So I think we should take this opportunity to get the good part of it, to get the knowledge that we want, and we need to change it. We need to change the wordings. We need to choose it, or to adapt it to what we need, what we want to do with it. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say everything about it, because I'm gonna tell the people here that we're planning to do a webinar on the use of artificial intelligence. So next month. Yeah.
So we'll ask them to stay tuned. So to tune in for our webinar, in which we're going to share a lot of insightful information about the use of AI, and we're going to clarify the difference between augmented intelligence and artificial intelligence, because a lot of people, they confuse that when human beings should intervene when it comes to the case of AI and when they cannot, and the difference, let's say, where do they overlap and in what sense they're different. So that is to be extended in our upcoming webinar, Mohammad, and I guess today is an opportunity to share this announcement to everyone. And we'll be glad, both of us, to share our experience and exchange with our audience, for sure, because that's the topic now, that's the trend, that's the future of ELT. So my next question for you is that now, since we're talking about your purpose of life and your ikigai, and let's say your utmost skills, what the world needs from you, what you can be paid for, what you love, what you're good at, let's say your passion, mission, vocation, and profession as your ikigai. Now I'm interested to know more about what kind of ikigai did you find in your EduCast conference, the last one you've organized together with a group of colleagues. Can you tell us more about that experience, Mohammad?
Well, okay. So the idea of the conference came to me when I was trying to observe the market. I was on social media, in particular on Facebook, trying to find out what can be done other than webinars. Because okay, I have lots of followers. I have lots of I have a big community of teachers attending webinars with me. I have a good number of people listening to my podcast. So what's next? Well, I said to myself, I can't do a webinar. I can do a conference. It was a crazy idea because I was all alone, but I'm a risk taker. That's in my nature. And I went for it. I spent about 4 to 5 months organizing this conference. I invited over 40 speakers to come to this conference. I talked to Cambridge University Person Assessment. I talked to National Geographic Learning Europe, and I talked to Macmillan Education, MENA. So I got them all to be partners, at my conference. And let me tell you something surprising here, because lots of people think that I have a designer working for me. No, I'm a graphic designer. I used to be a graphic designer, long time ago, and I designed the banners. I designed, I created all the marketing plan. I created the posts. Of course, I worked with some colleagues to make this happen because I couldn't have made all of this without their help. So yes, SteadyCast was a one-man show till I met all of those wonderful guys. So let's get back to the conference. It was held over 2 days, and I chose the 9th and the 10th of February for this conference because my birthday is on the 11th. So I said to myself, why don't I, celebrate both the success of my first conference and my birthday? And it went perfect. Yeah,
Congrats
of
for
course
both.
there were some thank you. So yes, I had some problems to deal with during 2 days, but no one heard or noticed them. No one heard about them.
Yeah.
No one felt that there was something wrong. I'm never shy to say this, because there's nothing perfect in life, and everything that we do or go through is a learning experience, just like this podcast.
Of course, and that's part of resilience and part of adaptability. So, just like actors on the scene. So, so we only see what they present to us, but backstage belongs to them. And backstage in our case is just the same for you and I. For example, I learned how to create my own content. I learned how to market my own courses and lessons, to creating my own videos, and even became like a kind of TikToker, something that I didn't want it to be back in the past. So I was just wondering what kind of society does exist, what kind of community exists in there. So, and one day, I saw a friend of mine, he's a Tunisian actor, he's called Hatem Karoui, and he was wearing kind of a hat, a big one, similar to one of the characters in fairy tales in Mary Poppins. So I said, tune in, I'll be right back. So I had the idea of talking about one of the longest words in the English language, which is...
I watched it. I watched this video. I liked it a lot, by the way. Yeah, I have to tell you. Yeah.
Pure improvisation. That one was pure improvisation. So that was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And I said, and I'm going to start teaching using TikTok. So I started with the longest words challenges. And all I had to do is I became the teacher artist. So I looked for accessories. How can I look like something similar to Mary Poppins? So I went to my wardrobe and I this is it. So I'm just going to act it, record it, and share it. And I did not have a single idea about the consequences and the results afterwards. And what I got is everyone, apart from my friends in my network, they were just reaching out and Yousra, what you did is amazing. So I got interested in just doing more, recording more. And thank you, Mohammad. So I guess you watched it, and that's very encouraging from your part to say that. Yeah,
You deserve
it's
it,
a
you know.
nice
You
one.
deserve it. Yeah.
But I do believe that I have few things maybe to improve for the next videos, and I'm keeping this like a kind of a surprise for my followers, and so all I can say for now is
And
like,
this is something else that a good teacher needs, you know, which is self-reflection and identifying weakness points and working on them.
of course, because we're not perfect,
That's what,
nobody is.
that's why you're a good teacher.
That's why we all are, and we're trying to give our best so that we deliver the let's say the most wonderful learning experience to our learners, because after all, that's all which lasts. So we're all human beings, and we belong to their lives for a few months, for a year, 2 years, 3 years maybe, but not forever. But a good teacher knows how to be impactful in someone's life. All right, so thanks for sharing as usual, Mohammed. So and let's say one last question before the surprise question is that now I guess you've been through the Ikigai test and experience. Can you recognize at least one skill that you recognize on your diagram, and it's something apart from teaching? And what is it?
Well, let me tell you something. Apart from teaching, I'm always receptive. You know, I have my own opinions, my own views, but I'm also open to other opinions. And you know, if the other opinions are better than mine, I go for them. You know, yeah. So
I can see
that's one thing.
Yes, I can see that among the mission that you have is that you're good in arts, theater, crafts, dance, music, creative writing. So, can you recognize yourself in
So
this
you mean
particular?
this? Yeah. You know, I might be a sports coach.
Oh, really? What kind of sports? Football?
Yeah, football, because I used to be a footballer sometime ago.
Oh, that is nice. So you see, now we know more about you, Mohammed. And what else? I can also see that you're good in motivating others.
Yeah,
Eh,
that's right. You know, wherever I went, wherever I worked, I tried to spread positive energy and positivity. That's why I'm very good at motivating others.
Can you recall an experience where you have stimulated a positive energy in a group of people or in someone you know, be it a family member or a colleague, anyone?
You know, because again, in my nature, I'm self-motivated and I'm self-driven learner. I always try to do the same thing with others. I always try to motivate them to reach, you know, or to get the best out of them, maybe to excel at their career. I have some examples when talking about this. You know, I know lots of novice teachers and fresh graduates, and I always talk to them about how important it is to develop professionally, not only as teachers, but also as human beings. You know, I also, you know, did this when I worked at, you know, two language schools as a teacher or teacher trainer. I also did the same thing at Forest University in Alexandria. And what really matters to me is when I go to a place is to leave a good impression, to leave something behind. That's how people will remember me. People will remember that someone, a guy, came from a city where there are almost no opportunities for development, and then he has become known internationally. That's why, you know, I feel that it's my duty to help others. You know, it's my duty to make other people motivated. Yeah.
And I believe in the same concept. And my motto in life is that if you can't find the right opportunity, create one. And that's exactly what is needed from anyone who's resilient. And Mohammed, so we reached the end of the podcast, but let me ask you a surprise question.
Yeah, and before this question, let me add something, because since we're talking about mottos, well, I'd like to say a part of a song by Coldplay, Chris Martin from Coldplay band, you know, the British band. He,
Yes.
I always, yeah, I'd like to be a comma, not a full stop.
Oh,
I'd like to add more, not to end, or just to copy and paste things. And
sure.
also from a movie called The Book of Eli, and this is something I truly believe in. Do for others more than you do for yourself.
Of course, and there is another quote which says like, be yourself because everybody else is already taken. So it's the same. So I guess now we all agree on this point, and I've dropped for you the question so that you read it, and you tell me whether you want to answer the surprise question or not. And I'll be glad to listen to what you think about this. Can you read it for us, please, and then answer?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So, a surprise question: how far do you think collaboration and partnership and professional entrepreneurship is important for progress? Again, no one can do it in life without having connections. Not only as an entrepreneur, you should know lots of people. But in terms of working as an entrepreneur, a guy or a person cannot move forward without partnering and collaborating with other people to do bigger projects. Because, for example, you have a vision and I have a different vision. So if we work together, if we collaborate and partner together, we can come up with a very great thing. Just like the conference, Yeah, I had a very good team working with me, collaborating with me, dealing with me. I even had a manager of a training academy working in my team, moderating the sessions. She came and collaborated with me, in doing this. So yes, a person cannot make any progress without having good connections, growing his network. He should respect others. He should respect other people's views. He should be willing for, helping others. Again, because it's a business, it should be a win-win situation. So the more, or how can I say this? If he did, or if he does good to others, other people would do good to him. Yeah, that's right. So again, to sum things up, yeah, collaboration and partnership in professional development and professional entrepreneurship is very important, and it's crucial. No one will ever develop this without having some kind of collaboration. Yeah.
Great, and thank you. And thanks to your mindset, Mohammed, thanks to whatever you're presenting online, and I hope that we'll be able to meet face-to-face in a conference, be it in Egypt or in Tunisia. Thanks to this, I know you today, and we're sitting in this podcast. Were it not for that flexible mindset and growth mindset, and myself included, I am coaching others how to adopt a growth mindset, let's say. And with this, I guess we reached the end of our podcast today. And thank you very much, Mohammed, for being here and for sharing with us your insightful experience. And I hope this won't be the last time we collaborate together. And I'll let you add something if you want before we end up.
No, hopefully, yes. I really support you in doing this, and thanks a lot for inviting me to this wonderful podcast. You're doing great. I just want to tell you that you're doing great, and we're both doing great. Let's just try to be consistent. That's it, because consistency is the key to development.
It is. Everything in life, not only in professional life. Thank you, Mohammed, and thank you everyone who's listening to us. That was the end of our IKIGAI International podcast, and thank you for tuning in. And please don't forget, we'll be announcing soon my next professional development opportunity with my colleague, Mohammad. And stay safe, stay blessed, everyone.